G'day guys and gal, it is a really good time to be a Warhammer 40k fan. The new model releases have been awesome, the recent lore has been consistent and super enjoyable, finally showing love to not just the Space Marines, but most of all, a high budget live action Warhammer 40k TV show starring and produced by Henry Cavill is finally in the works. Hell yes. It's been almost every Warhammer fan's dream to one day see our hobby come to life like this. I'm honestly amazed it's not just happening, but happening with so much potential. However, just because the foundations look strong doesn't mean the show will be good. There is actually a lot of pressure riding on this. The show could either bring thousands or even millions of new fans into the hobby, taking Warhammer to undreamed of heights, or it could be shit and cringe, like Halo, pushing curious eyes away forever. So I've watched and analysed various other similar shows that were in similar situations to uncover exactly what the 40k show needs to do in order to succeed. But before we get started, it is pretty common knowledge that I am retarded. I often don't read the fine print of things when I really should. I don't go over invoices properly before paying them. For the 400,000 subscriber merch drop, I said there were 400 hoodies, and then when we sold 400 hoodies and I was still in the negative, I was like, surely I'm not this stupid. Surely my costs aren't higher than the revenue. Until the guys I was working with were like, oh well, you know, we thought you meant 400 of each color. That's what you signed off on. Damn it. Anywho, I've come up with a solution to at least break even. If you buy a 400k Majorkill hoodie, you'll get a t-shirt completely free. The hoodies themselves are great quality, featuring a custom design on the front, a unique number on the sleeve depending what hoodie you ordered, so each hoodie is unique, and also comes with a micro text message on the back that you'll only be able to read if you pick one of these bad boys up. So if you want a slick hoodie, a free t-shirt, and to help dig me out of this retard hole to break even, then link is below. Unless we get through these, there probably won't be a 500k merch drop, and that is one big milestone I want to celebrate. Today we'll discuss the things the 40k show needs to do to succeed, as well as what things it needs to avoid in order to not piss everyone off. Let's get into it. There has been a ton of new high-budget shows popping up recently about some of our favourite fictional settings. The Witcher, Halo, The Sandman, Rings of Power, House of the Dragon, all of these spurred on by the growing popularity of streaming services giving these shows big-ass budgets. Well, apparently it also gives some of these shows retard writers, who either don't know the source material, think they know better, or just have straight-up disdain for it, resulting in these shows being really shit, or even the semi-enjoyable ones having a lot of issues. Quick comparison, the Halo show. Despite having a few cool moments, notably the action scenes, it was overall pretty mid and cringe, as a result of it taking a massive shit on the source material, turning Chief into some weird horny dude with a stick up his ass, and adding some whack human bitch as the antagonist, despite the source material very much being a race war between aliens and humanity. The Sandman, on the other hand, was very loyal to the source material, creating these incredibly interesting episodes that built upon the original works, only changing minor things to improve the flow or make it more visually appealing. As a result of this, Halo was shit on, not appealing to the original fans nor the newcomers. The Sandman, on the other hand, was a great watch for people like me who never read the comics, and from what I saw, also a joy for the original fans. It's not an option between one or the other. You can easily please both by going with the source material, as that source material is what created the original love for the setting in the first place. So off the bat, the Warhammer 40k show must be very loyal to the source material. Beloved characters should behave how they are written. I don't want to see a fucking romance between a Space Marine and a Sister of Battle. Save that shit for people whose dicks actually work. But what source material should the show be based off? After all, there are dozens of factions and sub-factions, thousands of characters, hundreds of books. There is just so much choice. Well, at least there seems to be. It is extremely important that the 40k cinematic universe starts small, easily digestible and contained before growing into something massive. If they start off with the Horus Heresy, then the show is fucked. Too much happens for it all to be compressed into a viewable format, not to mention the disgusting budget needed. No, Henry Cavill and co need to avoid doing a show based off Space Marines, Primarchs, or Custodians. Instead, they have two genuine options, the Inquisitor Eisenhorn books or the Caiaphas Cain books. Both contain a protagonist that Henry Cavill could easily play. Both are full of adventure, a diverse cast of characters, love, hate, vengeance, violence, action, and humor. Both introduce people into the 40k universe at a very digestible and easy to follow rate, and both can be done without $1 billion budget. Anything else other than these two options is really fucking stupid, and I'll be furious if they even try. Out of the two, I think they should honestly go for Caiaphas Cain. Henry would make a legendary Cain, a dashing hero riddled with heavily suppressed insecurities, who takes on the horrors of the galaxy with nothing but his las pistol, chainsword, trusty sidekick, and a kettle of Tanner tea. It has all the parts, and its overall tone of lighthearted and fun, plunged in a horrifying setting, would be really unique and engaging. It could even tick those diversity boxes big time. Inquisitor Amberly Vale, the most badass and competent character in the entire series, is a strong feminine female lead. They could also easily make her a person of color without changing the character or the lore in the slightest. Someone like Zoe Kravitz could be good, but I'm no casting director, so take that with a grain of salt. Cain visits a large variety of worlds, meets a ton of diverse people, and takes on a ton of different scary enemies. The series is so all over the shop that it gives the writers plenty of wiggle room to make small tweaks or enrich the source material, in comparison to the Eisenhorn series, which is much more straightforward and direct. Overall, the Cain or the Eisenhorn series are the best options for Cavill's flagship 40k series. A big issue I've noticed with a couple of the newer shows, especially Rings of Power, is bad casting. Bad casting can really fuck a show in the ass. It's hard to give a shit about a character whose actor just doesn't fit the role. Let's compare House of the Dragon and Rings of Power in terms of casting and you'll see my point. Every single character in House of the Dragon was cast to perfection. Matt Smith was a legendary Daemon. The young and old versions of Alicent and Rhaenyra were perfect. And whilst this next opinion is controversial, I think the casting of House Velaryon is genius. Even though they were white in the source material, by casting these really great black actors, they enriched the plot regarding Rhaenyra's sons being bastards. Those kids should have been half cast with white hair, but instead they were the opposite. It was probably the most intelligent diversity casting I've ever seen. They were not just hiring to hit quotas, simply hiring the best actors for the job. The Rings of Power, on the other hand, casting just didn't do it for me. Funnily enough, the Black Elf was actually the best and most believable elf in my opinion. Elrond's casting was mid, the King Elf casting was just total shit, and most of the elves were just ugly as fuck with short hair. Compare this with Peter Jackson's elven casting, who was so well done I genuinely saw them as otherworldly and mortals, and it's honestly just embarrassing. Celebrimbor also fell flat for me, as I had fallen in love with Charles Edward's badass Celebrimbor in the Shadow of Mordor games. It also did feel like they were trying to hit a person of color quota, which actually ironically worked in their favor, as I found the Dwarven Queen, Elf, and leader of the Half-Foots to be some of the better and more believable characters. But it should just never feel like there's a quota to hit. The Witcher had this issue as well, taking Triss Merigold, a redhead sex icon, redheads famous for, you know, their very pale white skin, who was literally the hottest chick in gaming history, then to just change her to a pretty mid lady, which in turn totally changed her character and personality, purely to hit a quota. I hope my point is coming across, and I'm honestly more disappointed in Rings of Power's white character casting than anything else. Although I'm sure some people will call me a racist, even though only hiring token minorities to tick a box is actually one of the more racist things a show can do. On the topic of being controversial, and this is probably going to annoy a few people, but I really don't give a fuck, while the 40k show should have females involved in the writing and production process, the lead writers should definitely be male. Like it or not, Warhammer 40k is an extremely male-dominated fandom. Just look at my fucking analytics. All the book authors are male and they write female characters fantastically. There is absolutely no reason to hire a female lead writer, as her understanding of 95% of her audience will be lesser compared to a lead male writer. Let's take The Witcher as well as the new super shit Witcher Blood Origins for examples. Both of them written and produced by Lauren Schmidt-Hissrich. Now I'm sure Lauren is a good writer, but it's clear that she doesn't give a flying fuck about The Witcher's source material, changing almost everything and literally pushing Henry out of the show with how much she had disrespected the author's original works as well as the games. You know, just the two things that made The Witcher a thing. Then when she is able to have full creative control with Witcher Blood Origin, she makes an extremely forgettable mid-tier fantasy fiction. I'm not saying guys are inherently better writers, but men and women are different. That is a fact. Our brains are different and we are better at different things. A high testosterone action-packed sci-fi setting set in the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, where up to 95% of its fans are male, will be done more justice by a bloke. That's not even a controversial opinion. canon. In terms of writers, they should get the original author of whatever series they are adapting, be it Dan Abnett for Eisenhorn or Sandy Mitchell for Caiaphas Cain. On top of that, they should get a well-respected and skilled TV show writer who has worked on these types of things before. Then also get someone from GW and also a super fan of the series with experience, like Henry Cavil. After that core group, then they can bring in the more specialized writers of either gender, whoever is best for the job. So for the Warhammer 40k show to succeed, they should choose Caiaphas Cain as the setting with Henry in the lead. They should make Caiaphas exactly like he is in the source material, so no fucking weird Master Cheeks bullshit from the Halo show. They should hire a really great believable cast, choosing the best actors and actresses for the role irrespective of skin color. I'm not saying make them all white, and I honestly think a mixed race Amberley Vale would be great. But if they're trying to hit a quota, then I'm just not into that. For story, while they don't need to use the books as a play-by-play, they should follow the general plots and twists, only changing, removing or adding things to improve the flow or make the story work better for the visual aspect. Remember, the books are super popular for a reason. This is similar to what House of the Dragon has done. It's not exactly like the book and tackles it from a different angle, but it follows the source material closely, and I would say even exceeds it in quality. For diversity, it's super easy to have a diverse cast of characters without making it obvious you're hitting a quota. For the Sandman, the gender and race change of Lucienne was subtle and slotted in nicely because fundamentally she was well cast and a good actor that suited the role. The best example is the House Valerian's diversity casting empowering the narrative's conflict. The point is, diversity casting can be done spectacularly well or it can be done extremely cringe. Overall, I actually have complete faith in the show. It sounds like Games Workshop has been incredibly picky with who got to produce it, and Amazon isn't just some politically correct platform where nothing can be edgy or grimdark. Just look at Invincible or The Boys. Henry is also known as a passionate champion of source material and faithfulness to what makes a setting popular in the first place. Not to mention, he's a massive fucking Warhammer nerd. I, for one, are super keen to see what they do, and I can only hope they make the right calls for the show's foundations, because I honestly don't know how they'll be able to pull off anything other than Caiaphas Cain or Eisenhorn. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then pick up a 400k subscriber hoodie. Remember, you get this, you get a t-shirt for free, not a bad deal. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real subscribe button for more hopefully optimistic content. Join the Discord for more memes and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.